Hey there, and welcome aboard Nautical Nolans. We're Dane and Tonya Noland, and we're turning our dream of life on the water into a reality. One project, one sail, and one salty adventure at a time. We're renovating our 1982 sailboat from the inside out. DIY upgrades, real-life lessons, and honest takes on the highs and lows of boat life. And we're exploring the Pacific Northwest, discovering the wild beauty, calm moments, and endless freedom that life on the water brings. So if you're into sailing, boat projects, or just love a side of good adventure, subscribe and join us for the ride. This is Nautical Nolans. When we first brought home our 1982 sailboat, the Teak was one of the first things that caught our eye. Years of sun and salt had left it gray, dry, and forgotten. But it was also one of the projects we couldn't wait to dive into. There's something incredibly satisfying about bringing back the warmth of wood that has weathered time right alongside the boat itself. And in today's video, we're tackling a full Teak restoration, from stripping and sanding to that final golden glow. It took weeks to finish, but with each brushstroke, it brought back a little more warmth and soul back into our vintage boat, Juniper. Hello and welcome back to the DIY series on Nautical Nolans. Today we have the start of a exterior project happening. I'm very excited for this one and actually been really looking forward to getting this project underway. We are refinishing the Teak on the exterior of Juniper, our boat, and she's in need of a lot of TLC out there. We don't know when the Teak was last redone. Definitely not in our lifetime since owning this boat for the last couple of years. So we have all the things that we need to stain, seal, and also sand the Teak. And what I'm going to be doing today is doing all of the taping, the prep work that goes in. I have done so much blue tape on this boat when it comes to interior painting, but nothing for the Teak, and that has not been on the outside either. So luckily it's summertime. We have so much great weather ahead of us, so this is the perfect time of year. This is the end of July going into August to start doing something like a Teak refinishing, sealing, and staining project. So really looking forward to getting this started during this time of year where it really has time to cure, be out in the elements, and not really be exposed to any type of moisture at all. So come with me and I'll show you how to prep the surface, and over the next coming days we'll also show you the rest of the process when it comes to sanding. Sanding is going to be a lot of the stages of the process before we get into any of the fun and instant gratification part of restaining and then sealing. So more to come. As we come out here, let's take a look at all the Teak that needs to be refinished, starting with these little beauties. These are the hatch doors, all need to be refinished. They have seen better days. So these ones will probably honestly take home. They'll be a lot easier to refinish from the garage. Obviously because they're mobile, we don't need to take them, do them in place. Everything else like this needs to be blue taped. Got my trusty blue tape, which I have bought so much of this in the painting alone. I think we must have gone through probably at least 6 packs of this just for that type of taping alone. But this will all be taped because everything needs to be taped because this is all going to be sanded. Everything here going to be sanded. In the cockpit here, completely sanded. I'm going to flip this around because it'll be a lot easier to show you this way. All of this wood is going to be sanded very well. There is a sheen on this. A lot of it has come up with weather stripping over time, sun bleaching. But before sanding happens, this surface has to be protected. The fiberglass has to be protected. So blue tape is going to be what I'm doing today. All of this is going to be taped. This Not to mention the helm and our little table here will also be sanded. Again, this is a piece that comes off, luckily, so this can also come home along with those, but everything that is affixed is going to be blue taped along the fiberglass so that when we go to sand it, it won't be damaged. But blue tape blue tape will go here, blue tape will go here. Everything that has to stay in place will have to be taped, so that we can you know, really just get this down, get the glaze off so we can get down to this wood. As you can see, this is in really rough shape, especially here where water has pooled, and it needs to be sanded down to the baseline. Also, more areas that need to be stripped down. All of this will be taped around here. All of the grab bars will be, my shadow's getting in the way. It will be sanded down as well. This will all be sanded. So I've got a lot of taping to do, so I don't even know if I got enough tape. But most of the tape, honestly, is in the cockpit. So this is all gonna look so much better once it's done. So yeah, more to come once the taping is done. Taping is done in the cockpit. That took about an hour and a half-ish. Most of the wood lives here in a lot of very hidden places, and just having to protect things from when we're doing sanding, because a lot of it's going to be hand sanding, but we're going to have power sanders as well. So wood lives literally everywhere, and around a lot of blocks, through a lot of little crevices, as you can see, in a lot of nooks and crannies, at the edge of things. I mean, it's all over. So now that that's done, it's on to the deck. One side of the handrails are done, and as you can see, I had to tape them all the way underneath because we were sanding all the way underneath. So one side done, two more to go. Okay, completely taped up. And as usual, with all the taping I've been doing inside and out, I discovered new areas I didn't think I was going to tape, like all of this. It wasn't until I was basically done with the handrails I was like, oh, there's a whole strip of teak here that I need to tape. So I got that. And then on this side, there was a whole little block right here. This is all teak as well, holding our lines for the main. So we are officially all taped up now. Looking really good all the way to the back. I mean, it just continues on and on. I mean, I love wood accents, but wow. This was my evening. Turned out to be, I mean, never underestimate how long taping takes you. I already cleaned up the helm. But yeah, this took at least 3 hours. I'm done. I am sweaty. That was all basically direct sun the whole time. I think no, I'm not tan. Maybe I got a little color. My legs are pasty white. I'm ready for a glass of Chardonnay or Rosé. But yeah, taping's done, prep work is done, so now the fun begins. Sanding is going to take a lot of work, so stay tuned for that part of the video.
So we're going to go ahead and refinish all this teak that has definitely seen better days. Try and sand it down and get rid of a lot of that gray and everywhere it's chipping. So we're hitting it first with 80 grit and then going to finish up with 120. And then we've got some nice stain and finish and sealant that we'll hit it with afterwards. But luckily this boat is predominantly fiberglass, so not too much we need to do. It's just a couple little accents here and there. But we'll get her done.
Here's where we're at. We've got a good, freshly sanded surface area back down to the very clean wood grain. So that's looking really good. This is looking really good. Very nice and dirty up here. But next up, we are going to be using our Dremel to get up and underneath up in here, because this is very hard to get with the hand sander, and also using the Dremel to just get these really tiny little grooves where it just, as you can see, it just curves right here along the line. So precision tools, very
Dremel's a must-have tool for anyone. Honestly, you can do pretty much anything with that. Great thing to have on a boat.
including the little cubbies that you've been working on in there, right?
Oh yeah, no, I got those all knocked out. Got that whole side knocked out as well, and then used the Dremel to get in the under bits of it, which was pretty amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see the before and then the after.
The floor is looking pretty crusty, and that looks very, very smooth. And we're looking very dusty, very tired. We are back. Day 2 of sanding on Juniper, and it's time to do the cockpit area because we only got to the forward side of the boat last night before we lost light, because it's getting darker now that it is mid-August. So we are going to be doing the little cubbies, and all of the companionway area has a lot of hardware on it that we do need to take off. And we have our pedestal area, which needs a lot of sanding, and that's going to be interesting to do. So you can see there's a lot of just teak, as well as little tiny screws in here that need to be removed. Tons of screws in here. I don't know if I'm aiming in the right area, but a lot of intricate things that need to be removed before any sanding is going to happen. So we tried to get out here bright and early to beat the heat. So visors, sunscreen, H2O, let's go. All the prep sanding is done for the cockpit cubby holes, Dremel, hand sander, and hand sanding for these little areas. So that's looking great. Starboard and port side are done. Beautiful teak exposed as much as possible. Now it's time to move on to the companionway. And as you can see, we have removed all the hardware. All the hardware has been removed from here, from these areas, so that we can sand all of this area here. So what I'm going to do next is then take a garbage bag and cut it to size and masking tape it so that when I do go to sand this with the power hand sanders, no dust gets on the inside of the cockpit or the inside of the boat, because yeah, we don't want to have to clean up. So yeah, that is the next phase. Let's see what Dane is up to in the tool shop. Hello.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Not much. I got my music going, but hanging out in this awesome workshop that we've got for us at the yacht club.
Working on our companionway doors.
Yeah, so really took a lot of these pieces off. We're gonna hit them with some 80 grit sandpaper, then with 120. Maybe even look into sealing them today, I'm not sure. The trickiest part's gonna be getting into these little grooves on both the front side and the back side. It's amazing to see the difference between what gets exposed to the sun versus what stays indoors.
Pretty preserved on the back side, yeah.
Yeah. But I do have a shop vac, so that'll be nice, so I can suck up all of the dust that I'm generating as I'm working on it versus having that live on the boat, which will be fun to get when we're done with all the sand in there.
Yep. Okay, you can see the difference between what was just sanded here versus here. Weathered and back to smooth grain. Weathered back to smooth grain. So here we go.
Okay, so we're taking off the last bit of material off of the pedestal. This was definitely the hardest part to do because there's so many things that are kind of in your way. So I was able to hit a lot of it with the sander, which we could get the bulk off. Some of the nooks and crannies with a Dremel, which is always nice to have. And the rest of it just with some scrap wood and then some sandpaper to kind of get into those little crevices. For the parts that we're doing by hand, it's a little easier to start off with like a 60 grit, then go to 120 to smooth it out. From there, we'll wipe this down, get all the dust off, and then refinish everything. But it's really coming together. It felt like it was taking eternity until all of a sudden they started doing the last bit, and I was like, "Oh, that went kind of fast."
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a place of zen, you know, going through and sanding out.
It's not like it's like smoky and hot today or anything, but it is. Yeah, it's like 85, 90 degree weather. Nothing like sanding after work. So while Dane is finishing sanding of the helm, I have in the meantime taken the shop vac and done a thorough cleaning and vacuuming of all of the other sanded areas, and it is now time to take our bucket and our cloths, and I'm going to go to all of the sanded areas that have been sanded with 80 and now 120 grit sandpaper, and take our cloths over here and wipe it down to get any just excess residue off of the wood, so that it has overnight just to dry with the water, so that it's a clean, smooth surface for tomorrow, which will be the first coat of teak color, and then that will be followed by the sealant. So stay tuned. Cleaning in progress. Quick wipe, but look at the difference, even just with the wiped down wood compared to the other side that has not been wiped down yet. That's just fresh, unstained wood, just wiped down, no residue of any sand material on it, compared to the other side, which I have not wiped down yet. So it's just gonna look so good. So excited to see the finished product. So rewarding to see fresh teak. Welcome back to Boat Projects on Juniper. It is teak staining day, and you can see teak stain on the companionway has been applied. Let me show you what else we've been doing. So you can see the stain difference between the natural wood here and just one coat of our natural teak stain in the Seatall brand, and it looks so beautiful. And what else I've been doing so far is I've done our helm. Oh my gosh, there's just this color. This is 2 coats. I've put 2 coats on this so far, and what a difference this makes. This was all just in such disrepair. All of this area was just crumpling and bubbling up, and we just sanded it, and now it's just so beautiful. Let me get the shadow removed. But just such a beautiful natural wood grain, and the natural teak color of the Seatall brand just making it its natural beauty shine. Let me show you what Dane is up to.
Okay.
How's it going?
Going well. Yeah, just hitting it. I think this is the 3rd coat now.
Yes.
But this is some very thirsty wood. By the time I finally finish painting it, it's like almost dry.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, just coming together super well. Going by doing a lot of really thin coats on there. And so instead of just like soaking this thing up, what we're doing is just over time hitting it with a good amount. So that way it's not dripping too much on you. Spreading it all across, and then by the time I finish up with this side, the other side should be dry enough for me able to hit it again.
Yeah, it's looking really great. And that's a wrap on day 1, coats 1 through 4.
Looking pretty good.
I'd say so.
Looking good.
Looking really good. Considering this was really sad looking before.
Yeah, it was pretty split and cracked. We had to fill some areas with a little bit of wood filler that said it was stainable.
Yeah, this area was kind of cracked. So, I mean, you know, she's vintage. Just
way,
looks like weather wood, right?
As long as we keep water from getting in there and rotting it out,
Yeah.
all good.
As long as we're preventing more crackage.
Preventable.
Crackage from happening, that's okay with me. We'll be back tomorrow for coats 5 through 8. We're back at the boat, and it's time to put the clear gloss on top of the teak natural finish. But before we do, there was a few areas that after we left last night in the vertical area just had some dripping. So what I'm going to do is take the 120 grit sandpaper and just lightly sand these areas where some dripping happened, just to smooth the surface before we put the UV clear coat on top of it, just so it is as smooth as possible, and just looks really nice and uniform. Really only happened in these vertical areas where the top just dripped down. Everything else is just looking really, really good and beautiful. And Dane is putting in the clear coat. It's actually got a little bit of a tint to it. So
yeah, a slight bit of
like
tint, but it will just make it look a little more rich.
Yeah, exactly. So more to come as we continue to finish up our teak. Today I am here to put the final coat of the Seatall UV gloss top coat on. It's been a few days since we put the first 2 coats on, but as you can see, it has dried so beautifully. This helm is just night and day from what it looked like before, and we did fill these cracks in the wood with a wood filler. Said it would stain, but as you can see, it didn't even get close. But I would rather have it look this way than have cracks in the wood. You know, it's just part of the boat. and it at least is sealed now and looking really, really just gorgeous. It adds character to me. Let's look at what the handrails look like. Moving up onto the grab rails on the deck. These just look so beautiful. It almost looks like, if anybody is into woodworking, tiger eye. It just has this like sheen. I don't know if it's picking up the grain in this camera. It's a little glary out here, but I think it is. It just looks so beautiful to me compared to what we started with. And I can't wait to take this blue tape off once I get these last coats of the UV gloss on here. So just really, really happy with how all of this turned out. It is just night and day from where we started. Even the wood down here, it's hard to get an angle without tripping while I'm filming. But this is probably the roughest wood we had, was this side planking, but even this is just looking so much better than what we started with as well. So overall, just very happy with the cetal, the gloss, and just how this is turning out. Gorgeous. And next video will be a couple days from now when all the blue tape is off. So stay tuned, friends. Hello, we are back on the boat after weeks of not working on the boat. Been to Australia on a vacation, and so the Teak project of putting together the teak that has been at our house, really just curing while we've been on vacation, is the project we're doing now, because we are actually taking off on a trip for the weekend with some friends for Oktoberfest, and we need to get these pieces on so we can actually sail. A lot of the pieces that were stained in our garage are pieces that hold our lines, so they need to be on the boat so we can actually sail the boat. And so that's what I'm going to be doing right now, is putting these pieces on into our companionway. Was one of the pieces that got stained in our garage, so that's what is going to be reattached, including this piece that attaches to the helm here. Also this piece that attaches to the bars of the helm, which actually holds our exterior cockpit dining table, and then of course all of the pieces here that hold our lines. The hardware needs to come back onto these areas, so that is what is going to be done today. Traveler, sorry, not Traveler, but all of the lines have just been flailing about. So all of the bolts, we actually needed to get some new bolts because they were just rusted, weathered. They've been on here for 40 plus years, most likely. So that's where Dane is right now, is getting pieces of the bolts to replace this. So I'm just putting on more of the easier finishing touches, like that piece and that piece in the cockpit. The Teak project is officially done, all but where the lines have to go through. We're gonna just do that underway. That's really, really minor. We just got to get ready to go sailing at this point because we have a weekend to get to, and actually there's no wind today, so there's not going to be any sailing there, and we have plenty of time while we're at the marina to put all of the lines back together with our friends. And actually we're going to be motoring all day today. It's a 3-hour motor, so that will happen as it happens, but I want to waste no time while I have a stable camera arm to show you how the Teak on Juniper turned out. We're really, really happy with the cetal, natural teak, and the coat gloss. So let's take a look. Here is the top area where the teak has been refinished on the grab rails. I still have to do a little cleanup where all the blue tape was, but overall the teak just looks so, I mean, with this light, it looks just so shiny and beautiful with how it turned out. And the grain on the wood just looks amazing, especially once we clean that up. and we're going to be painting the top deck and of course the bottom next year, so all of this will look even more fresh and clean next year. But just even the wood grain just really has such a beautiful sheen to it. Step aboard, take a look at this. What a difference compared to the weathered wood that we had before. You can just really see the grain and how it has transformed, it's sealed, and really all we're gonna have to do moving forward is rough this up with probably just like a green sponge and some soap and water, and we're just gonna have to apply the top gloss coat. We don't have to do any restaining or sanding again, which is gonna be fantastic and so much easier. We just have to, maybe every few use, put the top gloss coat, clean it up, rough it up a little bit with, like I said, a green scrub, and apply that UV gloss coat on it again. So very happy with how lovely this turned out, and just brought out that natural wood grain, and I just think the UV coating just looks so great. Let's move into the cockpit, shall we? And take a look at how beautiful this turned out. I love the hatch. The only unfortunate part we found out while sanding was these panels, the middle part. This part, not so much, because this is actually teak. This was not. That is a veneer, unfortunately. We found out while trying to sand it, that is not sandable. So a little bummed that the makers of this boat did not go full teak for the insert part, but we still stained it. We didn't sand it once we found that out, but the surround is all teak. It looks great. And I just think, especially once we do a nice scrub of the white, it's gonna make it look so much cleaner, because there's just been a lot of work being done on this boat between the engine, troubleshooting with the fumes, and us like sanding, or we have not done a proper clean. But this turned out amazing. It's just so pretty. Love how this turned out. And these areas are just so shiny. We've been getting lots of compliments from other owners at the yacht club. This piece has been put back on. This piece is just so pretty. I just love it, how it turned out. And it's a little overcast today, but it definitely shimmers so much more when it's very sunny. All the little stowaway areas look great. And I have to say, this helm just looks night and day difference. This whole area before was so sad looking. It was just cracked and peeling, and now we're just sealed and smooth. It took so much sanding, but it looks great and protected from the weather with the UV coating. We will definitely be topping this area off a lot, because it's definitely getting a lot of sun, but we also put a cover on this when we're not using it. But topping this off probably every couple of years with the UV coating, like I was talking about. And like I said, we did have to do some wood filler in this area because it was splitting, and even though the wood filler said it stained, it did not stain. But you know, it's the scars in life that show where we've been. And you know, she's 1982 Sailboat. She's got personality. It's wear and tear. We all have it. So all in all, these pieces just look so shiny. They have a new life. You can tell it's old. They don't really make a lot of helms with wood anymore, and so I just love that we do have this. So yeah, that is the Teak project. Very happy with how this turned out, and Now it's just maintaining that UV coating. Like I said, the plan next summer is, the big project next summer is to take the boat along with our friend Walt Grace, the ones that saved us in the dinghy when our batteries died, and take them up to Port Townsend to have the bottoms painted. But we would also like to do the top. As you can see, years of, just like the inside, years of grease, grime, wear and tear, and have like the top deck repainted, redone. And I just feel like it's gonna breathe new life into the top deck and also make just this teak work that we've done in the background shine that much more, and just give much more life into not just the colored paint on the bottom of the hull, but just breathe new life into the top deck and just make everything shine, sparkle, and breathe new life into her. And that's really going to make her feel like a new boat. We have a new mainsail coming, so you know, we're just bringing this vintage era boat of the 80s back to life and making her our own. So exciting things. That's going to be a project for another year, but this teak definitely needed to be redone. It probably, who knows how long it had been since anyone had refinished the teak, but it was looking really sad. It took so much sanding, as you all saw, but videos definitely make it look like things are always sped up. I would say for us, probably took us about, it's been a while, so I'm trying to think about how many days we were out here, but I would say it probably took us at least 6 to 8 hour days of sanding, not including the prep work of the blue tape, which the taping and the prep work always take the most time. But in this case, the prep work didn't take as much time as the sanding, because some of the areas we had to kind of get in with our, like, just our fingers and just take the sandpaper and kind of jerry rig it, and you couldn't use the power sander because some of these areas, as you can see, you can't put a sander around here and around like here because there's just not maneuverability room. So I would confidently say, looking back, just to be conservative, it took us probably at least 6 days of putting in at least 6 to 8 hours. So sanding is the bulk of the work in this type of work. So it makes me very, very happy to know, with the Cetal products that we used, knowing that the UV coating with just, you can see how shiny, how shiny it is. All we have to do is take like a kind of that coarse green sponge, rough it up a little bit with some water and soap, and just kind of clean it, and then reapply just that top coat area. It's gonna make it so much easier because we don't have to sand it again. The color's there. We just need to keep that top coat healthy, so it's protecting against the elements, rain, wind, and mostly sun. So that is the project. More to come. Thanks for joining us for this teak restoration video. If you enjoyed watching this transformation, give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you can follow along with more boat DIYs ahead.